if you're ever curious where I'm at every night and where I volunteer, it's right there where those flags are, right? And this is Pennsylvania Avenue, and that's Lafayette Square, directly in front of the White House. If you don't know what I'm talking about, if you look at Pennsylvania on 17th, there's the Starbucks where I get tea. Now what y'all know about that. And the Renwitz, way over there. Psych, it's right here, apparently. Now you know, that's one to grow on.
Okay, let's talk about Shakespeare and all the world's a stage. Life is good when you don't live in a cage. People are nice unless they're giving you a fake face. I like to sit around the city and smoke weed in every place. Anyways, let's get back to the topic here about the people with the white, old white hair. The hair, the gray, the white, and the saggy derriere hair. Oh my God, what has happened? When they manipulate people like Shakespeare plays on public streets to change the way that people think and act. Look around next time you're sitting around doing nothing. Look around and see who else sits around and does nothing. Then think about this. Watch how there's different characters played out in different places. Watch how they give you faces and redirect with their energy and their eyes and their body and the way they act and direct things. The honks and the dings and the beeps and the rings. Oh my God, did you hear how she sings? Everybody wants to look and put her on a platter, eat her up like a steak, and then it doesn't matter. Get her drunk or put her on pills or whatever fits your ill wills. Anyways, what I'm trying to say is this. I keep getting back and I'm trying to get back. Get way back. Way back in the day, I don't really understand anything. Way back in the day, I was like that sponge, that coral. I was that Milky Way. I was that cloud. But I didn't dissipate. I got thicker. I heard I soaked it up. Now I'm sitting around on the ground. Good old Fairfax County, Virginia education, begging with a cup. Washington, D.C., that's me, begging with the cup. But no one really gives a fuck. Not from where I'm from. Even though they say they play that humdrum. You could sit here and look at characters all day. In Washington, D.C., just about any day. I'll tell you what, when people disappear in life and they make you think that you were gonna have a wife, maybe some kids or some other shit that they said or did, but then they just rolled the fuck out. And just rolled their eyes and blinked their eyelids. Next thing you know, they with your friend Mo, then with your friend Larry and Curly, maybe the other two. And what are you gonna do? Not much. 'Cause they got you and then they got to your crew. Oh well, what can you do? But when you like to sit around this Washington D.C. town, you can see people that don't frown. You can see people with no smile around too. No smile around. Yep, all they do is frown. You got regular ties and bow ties, t-shirts and bare feet. People sleeping outside in the freezing cold winter and the hot summer heat. It's a tough, tough time when you could be locked up and taken to jail and put away for no crime. But you know what? Happens all the time. And I'm not just trying to rhyme time with time or crime with crime. I'm trying to show you how I like to chime. Think about things all the time. Well, it's a serious world we live in. And most people, well, they're not bad and they have nothing really bad to be forgiven. There's a few evil monsters around that we know of. You can look up online and the police, see who shows off, see who shows up, see who's in your neighborhood. Oh my goodness. Get your computer out and knock on pressed whatever chemical wood particle board desk wood that is. Come on, man. I'm not that kind of guy who's in show business, but I like to try and think sometimes I could be in the flow business. That means art using your creative skills to pay for your rent, pay for your other bills, and have enough money to go out to eat and have enough money to put Vans on your feet, to buy a new skateboard and take a vacation, maybe a few vacations, even out of the nation. You understand what I'm saying? That's what's called full financial globalization. Now, I think if you look at the people from the top to the steeple to the gutter with no butter, and the people in the houses and the apartments, not the people with the vast allotments of plantation residue, because that's probably not going to be me and you. Now, you got some new money here in the USA, and you got some people that look like the people you used to know back in the day. I got one just walking by right now. He looks homeless like my friend was when he was 18, and wow, he died a few years back. He had that bad addiction to that shit called crack. And he went to rehab and he got sober many times, got a wife, had a kid. He stopped his crimes. But that good old crack, that ringing the bell, that fucked up shit with that crack smell. The poor man went down and he went out. And I just saw, I guess, his reincarnated hybrid clone walking about. Nah, not really. but I am from this area, and I don't want to do anything bad or cause any hysteria. But if it's Halloween, I'd really be really happy to scare you. I could scare you now, but I don't think it's a good idea. 'Cause if you're not wearing diapers, depends, those adult diapers, you might get your pants with a little Pia or a little spray of the poopy tray, if you know what I'm saying. So I won't say nothing too fucked up to make your butthole start spraying. Okay, back to the point. I'm gonna sit here and smoke a joint. I said back to the point. I'm gonna sit here and smoke a joint. That's right, Washington, D.C., where you can smoke weed in front of cops in the streets, you see? Ha 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 and la dee dee. That's right, it's stupid seedling, sproutling, not yet even a tree. Yep, that's me. Nathaniel Shell Hayes Vizdas in Washington, D.C. Hey, Washington, D.C.
Speech, huh?
Speech.
Speech. All right, ready?
Yes, sir, we're rolling.
During the industrialized age in the United States, manufacturing changed quite a bit. And with line production, the Ford Model T, they learned how to rapidly produce many products with very small imperfections and very small consistency issues because of line production, where each person played a small part in the big production. That means like a person just sat on a chair and put a screw in something all day, or watched a car go by on a conveyor belt and put a hub on it, or pressed a button for a machine to do something all day. Okay, so the industrialized revolution created work for people to work for other people, so that other people could amass workers for them, where they gleaned a small percentage of their earnings every time to create wealth for themselves with unique ideas and connections with other people nationally and internationally, to create ways to control markets from every aspect, from production, distribution, sales, raw minerals, transportation, everything. And so then, cool, so they figured out how to do that. My people used to dig in hills and make steel and also deliver mail and cut hair. But then after the industrialized revolution, we moved into the war age, kind of with World War I, World War II. And I do believe we're at World War III right now, but it's just not with guns and weapons. But what happened was in the 1980s is this. People started to go, cool, I worked when I was about 14. But what happened is this, like this. And really the 1970s, but coming into the 1980s and the 1990s, people figured out that they'd rather do, a lot of people don't want to pursue these upper level intelligence, information, and highly psychologically demanding skills, where you build all this information and networks and power, and you have a lot of money from it. A lot of people enjoy doing the 15 to 20 $20 an hour jobs that are quick, so they can have these wild, famous lives, right? Can't have everybody having wild, famous lives, can we? We sure cannot. So what happened then? People got the mundane jobs, but the people who keep an eye on everybody don't get to have a lot of fun, and they don't like anybody else having a lot of fun neither. Have a lot of fun, let's have a lot of fun. That movie Batman with the dude that put the bag on his head and freaked people out with drugs,
That's the United States population. And guess who did it? The American Medical Association, and psychiatrists and just regular doctors, veterinarians, and dentists, all with the access to the same drugs. Let's talk about legalization of all drugs and honest for something that the person at the pharmacy, the doctor's office, and the scientific laboratory do not go to jail for making, designing, and doing scientific research about on animals and human beings. They don't go to jail for it, but Bob and Edith and all them nice people up the block do, just because they sold it to me and you, and they don't have a piece of paper from our folks here and their other folks much lower than the White House, of course, that keep that stuff blocked down and choked down. So choke that down in your brain sometime when you start thinking about people that are in jails and prisons that are not dangerous, that give you the same medication that doctors and the entire industry gives you from the American Medical Association. That's who you need to talk about and think about. Think about people who sit in rooms and never get to leave for years for things that are not dangerous to society. And if they're dangerous to society, then we just need to double the prison population for the same amount of people who do most of those things legally rather than illegally. So put that in your pipe and smoke it. I got to wait till later on federal property. I'm not going to do two-piece signs, Richard Nixon, and this ain't Watergate. And I'm not going to cuss. I don't think I cussed, did I?
Fuck
Peace
no.
and love. And the cameraman said, fuck no. And when I say cameraman, I mean Craig Thompson, Hollywood, South Dakota Productions. He's a madman. He really is. And he's wearing a Jackrabbit shirt and a lot of weird beads. He's got more tattoos than me. Yes, he does. And he was sitting in that seat. And now I get to go sit in that seat right now, too. Take over. I'm going to do a selfie in that video there, Craig. Put you in there.
Please in my office.
Good morning, friends. How you doing? Hope you're doing okay.
If you were part of a union or working class people who were allowed to build a better life in the middle class in America, you fucking listen to us. Because if you're out there buying those fucking hats that these swindlers are selling at that fucking fair, I'm sorry kids, I know there's kids here, then you're part of the problem, and I'll tell you why. Because you're being duped by the greatest swindler in the history of the world. You're being duped by a bunch of grifters and billionaires who don't give a shit about you or your family. They care about their fucking tax breaks and the money they can put in their pocket. If you consider yourself a patriot and you're spouting off that election denying shit, I will fight your ass outside if you want to. Wake the fuck up! We're working class people! These people are the fucking rich, the billionaires, and they don't give a shit! Thank you for listening.